How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I figured I would talk about the TKO experience that I had. First race ever. I'm not kidding you. I've never raced. I've only worked one race, and that was recently. You saw the videos of the San Isabel race. Yeah, I worked that. I didn't race it, but I kind of got to see how things worked as far as that race went. So that was quite interesting. And my background into wanting to race goes back many years. It goes back to 2012, so like over 10 years ago now. I bought the Gas EC300 for that reason. I wanted to do Red Bull Romaniacs, and I bought that bike to do training with, and I figured in a year or two I would then go do Red Bull Romaniacs. And of course, time went on. I was busy. I was having fun just riding the trails here. Didn't really think too much of it. It would pop into my head from time to time, and I would be like, oh, maybe I should do that. And then as I got older, and just like, I'm older now, I'm not in shape, I'm this, I'm that. So I just never got around to doing it, really. And then I got busy with doing a startup company and all that. And yeah, I was just busy. I was just busy doing stuff. Life got in the way, had a kid, all that good stuff. So, the guys were like, hey, you want to come do TKO, where we all go out there. We look at it as more of a trail ride. We're just riding with a bunch of people. It's for the fun of it. We're not too serious. None of us thinks we're going to get to Sunday's race at all, or even probably past the first race. Although one guy in our group did actually get his time. He's timed on the race one, because he was able to cross and it timed him, but he was still 12 minutes too short to mean anything. But I still think it's pretty cool that he actually made it across the start line and got he's the last person on the time for the race one, which is pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty good accomplishment. It just shows, he could just pick up some stuff here and there and probably make it on time, probably get to the next race. Now, personally, I look at it as, if I did get to the next race for some miracle, would I want to race that? Because it's the same day. I would be so tired. If I push myself that hard, you really got to be in shape. You really got to be in shape. And then how far are you going to continue then? At least you would have bragging rights like, I made the first race, I got into the next race, right? So I don't know. How I see it is, it was just a trail ride. I went out there, I was doing the video thing, and it was a trail ride. I wanted to see what it was about. I really liked it. I thought the guys at the back, I thought everyone was pretty cool. People were like, yeah, go in front of me. And, we went back and forth with, a few times with various people. I did that, I'd get ahead of them and I take a break. I just, go on by. They go on by. They take a break. I go on by. That was pretty cool. There was no hardcore like, I'm going to win, so I'm not going to help you. Now, there was another member in our group who, we started off around the same time, and he ended up getting further than I. He was actually pushing himself. I wasn't pushing myself. At the end of the race, I wasn't tired. So I know I wasn't pushing myself. So I could do better there and just push myself and actually race, and I wasn't racing. But anyways, this guy said, yeah, he was at the top of the hill, and another guy was stuck that was already there when he arrived and got stuck, and he looked over and said, hey, will you, if I help you, you help me? And the guy looked at him and said, nah. See, that's poor sportsmanship. So he said, him and the other guy fighting the bikes for another 15 minutes instead of helping each other and taking maybe 3 or 5 minutes and being out of there. So, I guess people aren't thinking. It's like, you're still in the back. You're probably not going to win any trophies or any medals. You're probably not even going to finish race one. So why wouldn't you help somebody? I don't know. Like when I got to the big hill climb in my last video, or not my last one, video number 3 actually, and and what I should have did, I sat there for like 21 minutes. Man, the hill wasn't really messing with me. It was that there was people on the hill, and as I started thinking about going, somebody would go, they get stuck, another guy would go, they get stuck, a girl would go, they get stuck, and it was just a cluster up there, and I'm just like, this is crazy. I am not good enough or trust my ability to try to get around people and get up that hill. I'm like, there's no ribbon over there. Maybe we go through the woods. And that's where, another guy and myself, we ended up going that way. It was actually really easy. I think they left that open because they knew that people would take that line thinking it is easy, cluster, so you kind of have an alternative area, go through the woods. I thought going through the woods was very, very easy. Now, if 30 people went through the woods and dug it all out, probably be harder too. But because it was fresh terrain, vegetation, it was easy to get traction. Yeah, I got a little stuck. I just rolled back and bump it up and kind of get a little stuck, bump it up again. It wasn't a big deal. You just had to work the clutch. Just be good on the clutch and throttle, and you were able to get right up that, which I did. And then I made sure the guy that went in the woods with me made it up, gave him thumbs up. He gave me a nod or a thumbs up or something, and I continued on, as you saw in the video. I think that's just what you do, you know. You know you're not going to win any race, so why not help people, right? So instead of going, nah, I said, hey, if you go in the woods, I'll go in the woods. And, that meant I'm going to help you too if we go through the woods together. So I bet that paved a way for other people to try the woods, because we went up it fairly easy and entered the single track, which was kind of wide right there from everyone blowing it out, but the single track, and so when I entered, you could just tell people were like, well, like, wow. And so I wonder what the people thought down the hill. So sportsmanship, I thought it was pretty good in the back. Obviously, as you're faster, you're not going to have that because you're all competing, right? But in the back, I think all of us knew we're not going to win any trophies, so it wasn't a big deal. So I like that aspect of being back there. That made it nice. Like I said, I didn't push myself. I wasn't at the end of the race. Like everyone else was like, I'm so tired and I'm so worn out. I'm just like, oh, I'm fine. But as I watched my video, I noticed that I'm just like tooling through the woods, right? I'm treating it as a trail ride. I mean, I didn't want to hurt myself. My wife would have killed me if that would have happened. I don't have the best insurance. In fact, I don't have health insurance. In most health insurance policies, I know you're going to say don't cover racing. Of course, you're not going to probably tell them that you were racing. Yeah, I tripped outside and hurt my leg. I wouldn't want an ambulance, although that's probably the trouble with racing. They're going to take you to an ambulance somewhere, and then it's going to be noted that you were racing, which then becomes a huge deal. So I didn't want to get seriously hurt, so that's also why I kept my speed down. Although when I watch my video and I'm going through the single track and I'm flowing along, I'm sitting down, but I'm like, wow, I was going faster than I thought I was going. So that's how I caught up with the guys before that at that hill climb, because I was actually moving a decent speed and I didn't get stuck on little hills. I went around people that were stuck, and I went over logs when I needed to go over logs. It was the shortest path. And, so I did things, I think, correctly. I just didn't push myself. So if I go back to TKO, which I'm thinking about doing next year, because I did have a lot of fun. And for me, the fun part is being there with friends, hanging out, having a few drinks, walking around, meeting people. And a lot of you might not know, I'm pretty well connected because I've done the events over the years for Rocky Mountain Adventure Riders, Trail Taker when I had that startup company and we put on events. So over the years, I've been getting to know people, and I don't really want to say names because I don't know. It seems kind of egotistical. Be like, I know so-and-so and this. But if you know me, I've probably talked about a few people, racers I know, and this and that. And it was good meeting them, and they knew who I was, and that was cool. And, I'm not out of touch with knowing people, and it's always good to know people in life. So one thing in business or in life in general is get to know people. Pro tip there. If I can give you any tip, it might not be about racing, but as far as business goes, marketing, what have you, get to know people, because those people you can build relationships with. And down the road, let's say if I wanted a job and move out of state, if I was willing to move out of state and work for a moto related company, I have enough contacts. I could be like, hey, so-and-so, are you hiring? Hey, so-and-so, are you hiring? You know, and somebody might be hiring. And they might be like, you have to move here, but yeah, we'll take you in. We know who you are. We've dealt with you. We know you're an honest person, etc., etc. You know, so get to know people. That's a tip I could give you outside of racing there, is to get to know people. It's good to have connections. And going to those events, you actually meet a lot of people and rekindle those relationships that maybe you haven't had for a few years. And it's great, you know, when people still know your name, know who you are, know what you're about. It's awesome. So yeah, so back to the racing, you know, the hot lap, which I videoed, and I videoed walking the track too. We walked the whole hot lap and I recorded the whole hot lap. Unfortunately, my memory card sitting here, 256 gigabytes, decided to finally go tits up, if you will. No good. Lost all my footage. Luckily, I had changed the memory card to a new memory card for the race. So that's hence why I have the race what I have. What I now know is take one extra battery with me because I might need to do a change out on the battery for whatever reason. I thought it would have lasted the race. It was dead before that time. But you know, now I know for next race is take an extra battery, put a newer memory card in, and definitely that memory card I will be probably destroying and tossing just in case somebody can restore stuff. I've already tried a program I got online and it heated this up to where you couldn't even touch it. So there's something definitely fried in there because that has never occurred and it says nothing there to recover. So unfortunate. I can't bring you the hot lap. I can't bring you the walking of the track because that's what I plan. Do a video of walking the track, us commenting on stuff, you know, us as amateurs being like, oh, I take this line, I take this line, I do this, you know, just bullshit. But it would have been for a good video because I haven't seen anyone else do that. And then obviously the hot lap you would have all liked. That would have been a good video to bring you in part or in whole or even pieces of it because I had some pretty good lines that I was very satisfied with on the hot lap. But the hot lap, man, it should be called the hot lap. Well, it is called the hot lap, but I mean, I was physically hot. I was just roasting. The heat coming from my face across my eyes was just insane. I couldn't believe it. Race day was a lot cooler out. You started earlier and it wasn't as humid and it was cooler. But the hot lap day was later in the day and it, you know, it was hot. It was very hot. But I probably sat for like 10 minutes. So my time was like 24 minutes and some odd seconds. I could have easily knocked 10 minutes off that by if I didn't even stop. If I would have just pushed through and continued, no stopping, I would probably come in around 14, 15 minutes, which would have been pretty respectable. So I'm kind of sad about myself for not pushing. I didn't push. Well, I guess I somewhat pushed, but I felt like I could have pushed harder. I was just like, I never felt that humidity and the riding and the slipping on rocks and stuff. It was a totally new experience. Also, hot lap day, I still had too much air in the rear tire. I run tubeless setup, as you know, and just too much air. So race day, I emptied all that out, ran a rear, basically a flat rear, the 220 ride semi-gummy tire, and that hooked up great. I had no problems with it hooking up at that point. I'll probably even run a true gummy next year. And if 220 ride happens to come out with their true gummy tire, which they're supposed to, then maybe I'll run that, give that a whirl. But yeah, you want a true gummy tire and you want, if you're running tubeless, no air. Let that thing just squash and roll through because most of it is all slow going anyways. You know, you have some higher speed stuff. You could, you know, wick it up if you wanted to risk that. I probably would, what I would do is I would probably just try to continually flow. What I need to do better at as a racer, not a rider, as a racer, is get out of the mentality of letting people buy, oh, you go first, this and that, or waiting and using them as a crutch because it's blocked up there. I just need to go down and pick an alternate line up and around, which I did in my first, I think it's the first video. I dip down and I go across because everyone's stuck waiting for that clear hill, and I just chug right on up. You know, that's what I need to do more of, taking alternate lines. Somebody stopped here taking a break because people take breaks in weird spots. Myself, when I took a break, as you saw in the video, usually I kind of ended the videos, like I pulled over. I made sure I found a spot, I pulled over, I took a sip of my water, kind of, you know, took some breaths, and then continued on. You know, I never took a long break when it was just me doing that. It was like a normal trail ride aspect. I would just pull over, take a sip, and continue on. But I always pulled over so there was room for others to go around. That's just how I am. So I'm a polite person. I'm a polite rider, I guess. And that's really not what you need for the racing mentality. You need to be like, hey, I'm going to get in front of you and go. So I need to rethink how I think when it comes to riding in that type of environment, in that setting. Is I just need to, you know, hey, this person's stuck over here, boom, 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 go around. There was a lot of that where I probably have the skill to bounce around those rocks and get around somebody. It might not be gracefully, it might not be like a pro, but it would be getting around them and just continuing on because they're stopped. So I was happy that I passed quite a bunch of people, and I'm sure there's a bunch of people that timed out on that hill. So I got further than quite a few people. And this was one thing I wish that TKO had, which I guess wouldn't benefit anyone except us riders who actually are paying for the pros to be there and get their money and all that, because, you know, we were paying for them to be there, would be if there was some more checkpoints you went through so that you knew where you went. Like, I don't know how much further my buddy Brian and Rich were up ahead. I don't know. They might have literally been around a corner for all I know. So, you know, and if I didn't have the mechanical problem, which is what I had, is why I had to dip out, is the cable came off the pulley in the throttle housing on the two-stroke because it broke. It might have, the shock from the fall might have broke that, and then it turned a certain way and the cable came off, and then it was just stuck on, and yeah, that was quite annoying because I'm like, whoa, turn off, you know, you're trying to turn the bike off quick. But luckily I broke down in a spot that was easy to extract myself, and it was still difficult at that, even mostly downhill. There was, you know, you got back to the pits or the campground or the start, I guess, and you know, I still needed it, and I still had to use the throttle. I had to use my fingers to pull on the wire lightly, and of course it wasn't perfect doing it that way, and yeah, just annoying. But what was I going to say? Yeah, you know, I got out. At least I had an easy time extracting. I'm sure there was other people that had a harder time extracting bikes out of the woods. If you're in a bad spot, getting out would take a while. And I'm sure there's people there helping you, and probably the sweeps and stuff, and you know, but it would be a whole production. So I was lucky. My bike broke in a good location, easy extraction, and I didn't have to sit there any longer than I needed to, which was mainly just to wait until the race was over or until sweep came. Sweep came for me because they were bringing my buddy Michael out. They had extracted him, and another guy was following suit, and then I just followed them down and exited out. So that was good. Yeah, I was very positive about the whole race. I thought it was fun. It was great. I definitely want to do it again. And who knows, I might even do it on an electric bike next year. There is some talk about that. We'll see. I'll let you know more about that if that occurs. I am talking with a company where we sell the electric bikes, or who we sell the electric bikes through. I don't know. But anyways, I'm talking to them right now. They want to be out there. I want to be out there. So that's a possibility. Although I would miss doing it on the gas bike because I love my two-stroke and it is kind of bragging rights. But at the same time, it would be fun to maybe try that. and do the electric bike one year and see how it goes. Maybe it is epic doing it that way, and that's something maybe I would then continue to do. I don't know. So you all, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me. Hopefully you love the videos and the video content. That I can see this video is getting too long as it is, but overall, I love the race. I love that whole environment. The TKO, was it hard? Yes, if you're racing it, it's extremely hard. If you're just going there and you have a mindset like I do, like a trail ride, yeah, it's just a hard trail ride. If you're just wanting to do it to try it, like I did. And I think I'll try to push myself next year. I think I will try to get in shape more for next year, and we'll see. Maybe I can get a lot further ahead, although it's going to be hard to know. But that's why I said it'd be nice if TKO had more checkpoints that you could ride through, and it would time you, so you would have an idea like, hey, my buddy made it at checkpoint 2, I only made it to, maybe checkpoint 1.5 or something. You would have an idea that you were in between 2 checkpoints. Maybe I'll GPS track it, so have an idea of the course. I just toss I have a portable GPS unit. I haven't used it in years. It runs on batteries. It lasts a long time. I can just toss it in my pack. It's a Garmin, and yeah, it's a little weight, but I'm not going to really feel it, to be honest. And it could track, and then have an idea at the end of the race of this is where I made it, and kind of match it up to their map and have sort of an idea, So you all take care. You all stay well. Thanks for following along. Thanks for the support. And if you want to support more, please visit A&M and just buy something from the store. That provides support. It keeps this viable. It keeps me interested in doing YouTube videos and the shop, and making this all work as a whole. So you all take care. Stay well. Stay safe, my friends. Have a good one. Bye.